I don't think that people have talked to young people about responsibility for like 50 years. And that's just too long, because most people find the meaning in their life through responsibility.
Why iron crushes victimhood, weightlifting as embodied philosophy. So in every leadership or coach training I've done for the last 20 years, one of the very first things I teach is always taking responsibility. Victimhood is utterly toxic stance that makes people useless. So if you're empowering anyone, it's the first thing that has to go. Took responsibility in many ways, but of late I've begun to think one of the best ways to embed it is weight training. I first saw this link anecdotally during that nasty cult that went around a few years back. A lot of people were being laid off, being sacked from their jobs, losing work, and weren't able to respond well. But all the PTs I knew were responsible, as Fred Kaufman would say. They dusted themselves off pretty quick and got on with their lives. Many changed careers and adapted well. It's really noticeable for me, and I thought, what is it these PTs have got that other people often didn't at the time? So why might it be that people who lift don't act like victims? Well, two reasons. Firstly, weightlifting directly creates the somatics of action. What does this mean? It means you can't bench press with your own body weight while feeling like a loser. You can't squat while feeling or being lame. You can't deadlift as a victim. It's just not possible. What is needed to lift weights is to become responsible in the flesh. It's just not compatible to lift and be a victim. Victimhood isn't a philosophy, it's a physical state of being. This is what I mean by embodiment. Moving heavy things is the embodiment of taking responsibility, and you can listen to all the Peterson videos you like, but knowledge is only a rumor until it's in the muscle, to steal a phrase. Heidegger said, we do not have bodies, we are bodily. Bodies have us, in fact, and a strong body is a way of being. It's not just a meat taxi, it's not just physical muscles, it's a way of being. Next strength training is one thing in life that fairly quickly, reliably, and directly shows someone that hard work pays off. It gives you that feedback immediately. With business, romance, and most other things, there's a positive feedback loop. Sure, you do get better results if you work hard and apply yourself, but with weights, assuming you're relatively intelligently programming, it's very, very direct. You see that positive feedback, the positive consequences of virtue, of hard work, of applying yourself are really easy to see. In life generally, the lesson you can take responsibility for your own outcomes is somewhat blurry connection. Not so in the gym, especially for newbies. When you work out, it works. It's not fuzzy, but directly measurable. 3 years ago, I was literally and quantifiably 1/3 as strong as I am now. The reps in kg, or freedom units, just don't lie. This is wonderfully encouraging and empowering. I remember what it was like to start putting that pin down or start adding a little bit of weight. And in a relatively short time, go, wow, I used to do 20 of these, now I can do 30 of these, and now I'm having to put the weight up just to stay in a strength, range, measurably and concretely. What's even better is that this benefit from lifting spreads too. You start by getting results from work in the gym, but then you realize you need to take responsibility for other things, your diet, for example, your sleep, your stress levels, etc. Soon a sense of agency builds with your gains, and you realize that all the whining, complaining, and blaming others in the world is just so much bullshit. People can justify it, with their philosophies, their politics, or whatever, but you just realize when you train, it's bullshit. It doesn't help you lift, and so it doesn't help anything. The iron gives not one shit for excuses, but obviously and quickly rewards an internal locus of control. That's what psychologists call it, when you believe you can change the world. Internally, you're not just pushed around by the world. So when you see a silly article saying the gym is a gateway to the far right, well, you've got half a point, maybe not the far right. But it's hard to lift and take seriously the cult of victimhood that prevails today. Far left irresponsibility doesn't land well on a developed chest. Iron crushes excuses and rewards excellent. Yes, the world is not always fair as steel, to be sure, but the gym makes agency a habit and embeds not just the idea, but the embodied reality of responsibility.